or some.
Well, all right, let's get started. I think so. I think we can get started. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring this up there again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Happy Memorial Day. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Those of you that barbecued before or after, or sat around with family and remembering those of your family that served. Both my grandfathers were part of the greatest generation. Both serving overseas, and of course, my grandfather on my dad's side helped relocate GIs coming back from World War II, setting up like apartment blocks and organizing all of that in Florida before they all moved back home as a staging ground. Because, you know, before we had the ability to take large swaths of the of our interstate transportation system and all that for granted, it was quite frankly a logistical nightmare getting all those soldiers back home and getting them in position. So, and you know, getting them sort of stabilized and then in some cases triaged and treated for shell shock and the like before they went back home. So, anyways, happy Memorial Day, and a true heartfelt salute to all those who served and passed, keeping this country here for all of us, so that, man, a lot of us could just take it for granted. Can't you? Don't you just find yourself every day getting a little bit grumpy in traffic, realizing, you know, without realizing that that you're not driving past potholes created by IEDs with some regularity? Hi, Carol. And to everybody who watches the show Mega Worldwide across the entire world, a reminder to you, you know, even though this isn't a holiday in your country, to remember those of you that that gave their lives to put you in a situation where you could be hangry or sleepy grumpy as a grown person, or get a little bit chuffed at your own accomplishments, or miffed at others' lack thereof, or get annoyed at a long line at a grocery store with a total lack of perspective that it's amazing and a miracle of the world that you're even able to stand in line someplace and buy what you need. Hi, Auntie Sarah. It's HAL Sparks. Welcome to HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. I am freshly showered. I have Viking hair. I'm starting to look like a homeless dude. Excuse you. I'm in transition. Secondly, homeless guys don't have locks like these. Quite frankly, they're wet right now, slightly damp, and I've got mousse. I'll have you know, I smell wonderfully fruity right now. What? Yeah, you understand what I mean. By God, I'm only going to keep the scruff long enough for you guys to get attached to it, and then I'm going to shave it off. I'm just a little scruffy. It happens. I'm allowed. I'm probably going to shave it just for my kid is finished with school on Thursday. So there. Yeah, my hair game is pretty on point these days. And I'm not wearing when I'm not wearing a black shirt, you can see how far it goes. Look at this. Look how far down that is. Look at this. Right there. That's that in general. Look at this. Look at that business. What am I? You see what I'm saying? Huh? Ficus, Ficus looks pretty good in this with the scruff, I have to say. When I brought up Ficus the other day, he surprisingly had the scruff made sense. Quite frankly. Let's see. So there's a lot to talk about today, and I'm going to do a shorter than normal show today because it's a holiday. Okay, yeah, it's still stupid. All right. Oh, and I've got to plug myself in or I won't be able to hear anything. Or I'll hear everything twice, which is even more annoying. Scruffiness is in the eye of the beholder. Thank you. I am not a nerf herder. Who you calling scruffy looking? Donald Trump, the most notorious liar of the 21st century. Yeah, but thank God for all of us that he's so bad at it. So bad that only his own followers buy it. Hilarious. Now, I was trying to find, I thought it would be a perfect video for the day to find the Greg Kelly bitching about Top Gun. Somebody told me about that earlier, and I have not been able to find it. So if anybody can find it, tweet it to me and then let me know in the chat room that you've tweeted it to me. Because I couldn't, by itself, I couldn't dig it up as a separate clip. I suppose, hold on one second. Newsmax TV holding out for the thing that to the channels and no, there's no other channels. Okay. Yeah, I don't find it as a separate thing, and they don't tend to want to tell you. So, if anybody finds it, I'll let me know, and I will try and yeah. He probably just rolled his eyes because he's afraid of Scientology. I don't know, maybe not. I'm glowing. Thanks. I showered. That's all it is, and I put oil on my skin after I get out of the shower. I was running around, I'll have you know, before the show I just now threw on a shirt just as the show was starting. I was all oiled up and shirtless before, and I understand it's on his Twitter. Oh, I see. Like he just tweeted about it. He didn't do a, okay, hold on. Did he just bitch about it? Or did he do a personal video? Let's see, Greg. Let's see, Kelly. Sorry. I was just bitten by a giant jellyfish. This is, I guess. He's just hopping. I was just bitten by, The lifeguard is here, but he's an EMT as well. Everything is under control. This is an hour ago. Greg Kelly was just bitten by a giant jellyfish. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. Greg Kelly decided to go to the beach. And next week, we're going to have a series of stories where he goes off on how America's going in the toilet because of the goddamn jellyfish. That's so funny. No, I don't think he's peeing on himself. I think he's just imagining the Trump pee-pee tape and it's making it feel better. By a jellyfish. I just got bit by a giant jellyfish. And again, he's just hopping up and down. It's just a loop of a second. I don't know what he meant to show. That's what is this, Greg Kelly? What are you tweeting? Oh God. Okay, May 24th. What is this? Nothing toxic about man. Here's such a thing as a toxic man. Such bullshit. Well, be a man, be a woman, not both. Greg Kelly show. That's an old clip of him. President bad news. Ultra MAGA's pro legal immigration ideals not real. Okay, I don't know. Closely from the looks of things, I would urge the fiance back in the UK not to not push your legs. Andy Carroll's fiance fumes over 3 in a bed bachelor party. Okay. A horrible writer thinks this is the moment Biden needs to confront white green. Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, it's just a dude getting beat up on the subway and to all you jerkies who are annoyed with my Top Gun. There you go. Hold on. This is it. Attention, alert, alert. I'm about to spill the beans about the Top Gun movie. Read no more if you haven't seen it. So Tom is into this Jennifer Connelly who is smoking hot and owns a bar. Clearly got something going on, but it's pretty casual. But then Tom continued and shows up at the bar where she works in his dress uniform near the end of the movie before Tom flies off the big mission. It's like, officer and gentleman, here's my beef. It never explained why Tom got all dressed up to visit the bar. He proposed to her, you dumb fuck. Explanation is he's gonna, but all they do is make out a bit. We can see her ring finger and there's no ring. What the fudge? What the hell's he waiting for? Because he's not gonna propose to her if he's not coming back. That's the don't break her heart again moment. This is a dude is completely incapable. She'll be there, and if he gets his ass blown up, wouldn't it be nice if his government benefits went to her and her daughter, or is she supposed to work in that saloon forever? Selfish Tom Maverick better be married to her by Top Gun 3. Oh my God, what a douchebag. The whole point is that she's fine. She doesn't need his fucking help. And you don't marry someone to, here, you want my shit just in case I get blown up? And I'm going to get married in case I die. Like, fuck off. He proposes to her and says, if I come back, will you think about it? And when he comes back, she went on a trip because she couldn't deal with the idea that he might not come back because he's gone away. And never mind, just fucking stupid. What a douchebag. That's the whole, and he took a picture in the theater of them sailing on a boat together in the movie. I like the Top Gun Maverick movie. Something is bothering me about it. I couldn't sleep last night. I was so steamed. I will say it. Spoiler alert, I will be giving something away in the plot in several moments. I shall update everybody. That's the part that bugged him. Was it hell of a good movie, great cast. Held my interest, cool footage, real plain, some errors, but I'm going to let him slide. Fuck, some errors. Get the fuck out of here. Got to hand it to Tom Cruise and his team. Honorable mention to John Hamm. Very convinced he is the jerky Admiral. America. Cool. Is that Jen Connolly? White pants. You can't tell from here, but she looks fine. She's in the whole fucking movie, dum-dum. What'd you do, doze off? She's in the whole thing. That's her too. What a jackass. Oh, and then he's mad about the, I'm at Top Gun so far. It's a mixed bag, 20-minute line for popcorn. Not happy. Look at this fucking miserable puke. You don't think he'd be, like, I have to say, the grumpy asshole taking pictures on his phone through the whole thing doesn't know it's Jennifer Connelly in the fucking movie until, like, midway through. And this shit, I'm at Top Gun. So far, it's a mixed bag. What do you mean so far, motherfucker? You just bought your ticket and you're standing in line. 20-minute line for popcorn. Not happy. What a douchebag. And then can we fast forward to this dickhead in the theater, like annoying everybody, being like pissy and weird about it. And then fast forward to this. He is Doc 13. It's official. Greg Kelly is the most miserable man on the internet. Just cannot, is incapable of the human emotion of happiness or contentment. And then this is his pinned tweet, by the way. He did it. Thank you, Elon Musk. He did what? He didn't buy Twitter, fucko. That deal's falling apart. I know. And then the jellyfish thing. The lifeguard is here, but he's an EMT as well. Everything is under control in quotes. What a dipshit. Oh, God. Has anyone checked on how the jellyfish is doing? If I was it, I would lose that stinger. Just in case his bizarre case of depression is contagious. Even the jellyfish. Right, exactly. You need a paramedic, dumb fuck. Yeah, well, he's just having people pee on him. All I can say is that the fake pee just doesn't get it. Oh, what a miserable son of a bitch. Oh, that's fun. That in and of that makes my Memorial Day. Knowing that Greg Kelly, miserable bastard that he is just a fucking wreck. Now, I don't know. Let me see what this thing is. Oh, I see. Peach tree dish. Oh, I see. She's talking. This is. So what?
Meat that grows.
Hold on. She means lab grown meat. She's talking about lab grown meat grown in a petri dish. A petri dish. A plastic or glass antiseptic container that is of a fixed size for doing cultures mostly for doing cultures. And then this is the response.
Because Bill Gates wants you to eat his fake meat that grows in a peachtree dish.
A peachtree dish. And she's from, Georgia, so fuck me. Peachtree dish.
Because Bill Gates wants you to eat his fake meat that grows in a peachtree dish.
Yeah, so totally. Bill Gates wants you to eat peach mince pie. Shepherd's pie with a real shepherd in it. He's trying to, the gazpacho police are going to come over and make us eat meat in a peach tree.
Bill Gates wants you to eat his fake meat that grows in a peachtree dish. Because Bill Gates.
Fuck, man. Anybody who thought this dipshit should have her own podcast, honestly, she should fire her staff. It works real well for Matt Gaetz. No, it doesn't. One of the worst things she can do is talk uninterrupted.
Wants you to eat his fake meat that grows in a peachtree dish. Because Bill Gates.
Well, she's reading from a story, but petri dish and peachtree dish. I mean, Just brutal. What is this? Marjorie Taylor, Marcus Flowers for Georgia. Proud Army veteran, patriot, Democrat running for... Marjorie Taylor Greene just stopped by our campaign office. Rep. Greene kicked me out of a rally last year, but I didn't make her leave our office. I'd much rather voters in Georgia remove Rep. Greene from her office in November. That's weird. What's she's saying anything? Oh, this is just security footage. She just came by their office to just yell in the door. With like 3 dipshits following around, filming her doing it. Hey, y'all. Have fun, you fucking baby eaters. All right. Oh, hey, look. Let's look. There's Stankfield. I only do want to do one. Well, here, let's do a rarefied one. This is this dude, Clayton Morris, who I think lives in Portugal or Brazil. Like, he doesn't live in the United States. And he wants to be kind of a like a younger hetero version of Glenn Greenwald. That's what he seems to be selling, because he does the show with his wife. And this is titled, "What the U.S. Just Said About China is Terrifying." It's all in quote. It's all in caps. Terrifying, redacted, with Clayton Morris. By the way, I'm sure that Lee Camp is pissed that this dude took redacted, although they're just both overlapping. But he got the redacted checkmarked station. They've got 825,000 subscribers because there's big shit on America money out there to be had.
Said about
All right, anyway, so what the U.S. said about China is terrifying.
China, it's pretty darn terrifying. So
What's that we're going to defend Taiwan?
if you missed it, here's what the New York Times, out with this headline, had to say. U.S. aims to constrain China by shaping its environment, Blinken says. Sure, nothing to see here, I'm sure, because when the United States
Weather machines, we're gonna zap them with a earthquake gun. Earthquake gun.
admits to trying to constrain a country, it always turns out great. So,
Well, when we don't, say post 2014 Russia, it gets way worse. Also, this is the idea that that American isolationism and non-interventionism is the only way to a peaceful world. This will be the pro-China tack you'll hear today.
Antony Blinken, the guy that has no H in his name, so you just say Antony.
So Antonio doesn't have a th in it because of where it comes from in the world. By the way, dude doesn't live in the United States, lives in a foreign country, probably experiences a lot of Tomases a lot as well.
Antony Blinken.
Yeah, like Scalia, Antonin Scalia, who goes by Anthony to his close, did.
Mr. Blinken, in his own words from a speech yesterday. Don't Blinken or you'll miss him.
So what you're going to tell me before you play this clip is that it's cut unnaturally short to give artificial context or eliminate any.
China's the only country with both the intent to reshape the international order and increasingly the economic, diplomatic, military, and technological power to do it.
So I just have to stop it there for a second. So
is that why we have to stop or don't Blinken or we'll miss it, because you're going to slice through this thing? So he's saying they're the only country big enough to do it. Now, Russia was close, but Russia is fucking itself up. There's an argument, by the way, about whether or not China has the ability also, which I don't necessarily buy, but that they're going to operate as if, because there's still a lot of American businesses and European businesses that assemble a lot of things in China. The manufacturing base is still there, even though it's collapsing as we speak.
China is the...
Thank you, Andrea. Yes, 666 Memorial Day Super Chat. We've got 666 people in the YouTube chat, and that means if you feel like contributing, $6.66. Now is the time to do it. Any variation thereof, no job is too big, no fee is too big.
Only country with both the intent and the capability to fundamentally reshape the global order.
Yes, away from a liberal order and to an authoritarian one. There's a bunch of ones that would like to try it, like North Korea or Iran or whatever, or even Russia, but they're not capable of doing it because they just don't have the means and wherewithal. I don't, honest to God, I don't think China has the means and wherewithal either, but Blinken is smart to take it seriously.
I almost spit out my coffee. I'm not going to even waste my breath calling out the bullshit of that statement coming from...
We'll try. Is that because you can't?
A country that in the very same week just sent $40 billion to Ukraine.
To defend itself from a country that is trying to reshape the world order in their own image as an authoritarian state. I mean, I don't see any, what's the contradiction?
And then also sent soldiers back to Somalia in basically the same 7-day period.
Right, because there's a civil war in Somalia and there are human rights. Hold on. Let's see. I'll bring up why in a second. This is what he's referring to. U.S. will soon redeploy troops in Somalia, the mission and key goals. This is the overall purpose of it. Biden administration in the U.S. recently announced it would be providing a persistent presence in Somalia of up to around 450 U.S. soldiers, reversing a decision by Donald Trump, because why would you protect black people, to withdraw 700 troops from the country. Several factors probably prompted the administration's decision. First, in my view, this isn't a change of policy. It's about logistics. U.S. troops will continue to perform the same tasks as before, but they will once again be based in Somalia rather than outside the country, which required them to commute to work. Commuting was far from ideal. That's because of they would fly in and do stuff. Here you go. U.S. less effective at countering terrorist threats in Afghanistan and Somalia since troop withdrawal, generals warn. Second, the security conditions in Somalia appear to be deteriorating, with Al-Shabaab able to increase its attacks against civilians as well as Somali African Union and other forces, which, for the record, this dipshit couldn't care less about. It's 450 people. We're sending in 450 troops, mostly for logistics and support. Third, the Biden administration has been conducting a review of its Somalia policy for well over a year. Perhaps it is now finally drawing conclusions such as base some troops inside Somalia is more sensible than having them continue to commute inside the country. So they fly in and they fly out. Finally, the new Somali president, Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, is very receptive to the move, calling the U.S. a reliable partner in our quest to stability and fight against terrorism. A senior advisor to the new president agreed, saying Trump's decision to withdraw was a wrong and hasty decision which disrupted counterterrorism operations. They're there by request.
Okay, so maybe I will waste a little bit of my breath on that, but it's ridiculous, right?
Sorry.
Now, if you watch the full
all of this jackass breath is wasted.
Speech, and I encourage you to do that, you get a really full understanding of just how warped the United States is towards China. Here's another clip.
Sorry.
Even as president
towards China. One second. I keep this what keeps popping up? Hold on. I think it's because I have Jimmy's on pause in here. So sorry. There we go. This will bring it up.
President Putin's war continues, we will remain focused on the most serious long-term challenge to the international order, and that's posed by the People's Republic of China.
Okay, so first and foremost,
who cares about Uyghurs? And anybody who thinks that there's a problem with them sterilizing, raping, murdering, and re-educating Uyghurs en masse to the tune of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them over time, they're going to stop at the Uyghurs. So I don't know what all this is going on. Are you a Uyghur? Do you even know one? Do you really care? I mean, what's the U.S. even care about this? And obviously we're invading. And by invading, I mean, we're stopping buying some of their goods that are made with slave labor. And that in and of itself is hypocritical, because America had slavery a long time ago, fought a war amongst its citizens to stop it, lost 500,000 of its citizens deciding that factor, and hasn't had it since.
In this speech is the declaration that Russia is nothing really to pay attention to.
No. They're not a long-term threat because they're on the verge of collapse.
The real story is China and the impending war with them.
No, there's no impending war with them.
Now,
by the way, the only war that's being conducted in or around China right now is the Chinese government on its own citizens. Hold on. They just released some of the, here's, you want to know about a war going on in China? Go look up lie flat. Here you go. You guys want to see this? And by the way, do you think this dipshit knows anything about any of this stuff? I doubt it. The lie flat movement in China. Here's this is just the first story. There you go. Why would you declare war on a country? You know how everybody talks about, especially the Chinese government loves to talk about how lazy the American people are in general. The Chinese literally have this liu jiu jiu, which is 699, 6 days a week, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's like working themselves to death. So they gave up on that. The people who are leaving liu jiu jiu are going to are moving to the lying flat movement, which is they just lay in bed, drink, smoke, and cry. But I mean, the crying is optional. But they basically just go. There's no reason to join the rat race. Does anybody think this is a 10-year strategy for innovation? This is July 8th of last year. The lying flat movement standing in the way of China's innovation drive. There is no innovation drive over there. Also, there's no way this jackass knows anything about this.
We've been talking about
or if he does, he's ignoring it on purpose.
This on the show for a number of months, especially since the most recent Russian invasion of Ukraine unfolded.
It unfolded.
We said it.
It was folded and then it unfolded. You know what I mean? Like a piece of paper, you just sit there and it kind of opens up.
Here, that this is just a distraction. The real story is China, right? So now he's even admitting it. Like, Russia over there, that's fine. Don't pay attention to them. Oh,
yeah, that's not what he's talking about.
good, because the U.S. has proven just how badly our disastrous policy with Ukraine has gone. So now
it has. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Hey Siri, stream. So this is artifacting over here. Sorry. And
1 moment.
there you go.
Okay.
People are picking up the pieces around Kharkiv after liberation by Ukrainian forces. Yeah, it's going terribly. What part's going terribly? The part where Russia has lost a third of its forces already.
now let's try it out on China.
What do you mean? Try out what? Force China to attack Taiwan? Is that what we're going to do?
We armed the Ukraine military that just got destroyed by Russia, so now let's funnel billions.
I beg your pardon?
We armed the Ukraine military that just got destroyed by Russia.
Is this guy, is this a clip from 2014? What? Oh, I set off Siri. I'm sorry.
So now let's funnel billions of dollars into Taiwan and train those guys.
We've already been training those guys. That isn't new. None of that is new. As a matter of fact, we didn't have troops on the ground in Ukraine when Russia attacked. We currently have troops in Taiwan training them.
Seems to work every time we do it, right? Afghanistan, Somalia, Ukraine, the list.
What? And also the list goes on. First of all, Somalia we were helping them. Trump pulled us out and Al-Shabaab made advances and started killing the citizenry. They asked us back in. We had 700. We're only having 450 in there now. Ukraine is an ongoing concern. I don't know if this asshole, if he's probably getting the same news that Putin's getting.
List is endless.
The list is endless. Well, then why is it the same list and 2 out of 3 of your sources are not examples of failure, and the third example is what was the? Hold on.
Into Taiwan and train those guys. Seems to work every time we do it, right? Afghanistan, Somalia, Ukraine.
Okay, so Afghanistan. Again, Afghanistan, we held up the government as long as we could, but we couldn't hold it up for them, and when we left, they collapsed. Now, I know this dude and his wife are against women getting educated and a free society flourishing in Afghanistan. You'd think they'd root for it in general after we left, but apparently not. the natural state, as far as this asshole is concerned, is that Afghanistan is a Taliban-run state.
The list is endless.
How many views does this guy have? 825,000 subscribers. This video itself has 16,000 likes. The views aren't listed. I don't see the views on this one. Where am I missing it? Show less. Well, it's 16,000 likes anyways. And like I said, 825. So maybe half that. I'd have to look. But a lot. This asshole is not talking in a vacuum. Although how many of those are bots is one thing. And the other thing is, if you've got 825,000 subscribers and only 16,000 likes watching your videos, I'm going to guess that 500,000 of those subscribers are more than likely bought and paid for to artificially elevate the channel. The
honest truth, of course, is that, as ex-CIA Larry Johnson put it in an excellent interview with friend of the show Eva Bartlett, we haven't fought a real enemy since the Korean War. Listen.
That the United States really has not fought a genuine foe, somebody who could fight back since World War II, or let's say the Korean War.
So our military isn't capable of doing anything. By the way, the Chinese never have. The last fight they got involved in, Vietnam kicked their ass in 1979.
Vietnam doesn't even really count, because in Vietnam they were not up against an air force that had the competence of the United States. The Ukrainian military is not a real military now. It's been eviscerated.
It's been eviscerated. Honestly, where the fuck is this guy gathering any, how in the world, how do you get that takeaway from what's actually happening there right now? Yeah, dude, it's why Top Gun was formed, because of the losses in Vietnam. Exactly. What?
It's been neutered.
It's been neutered. So the Russians are having their asses kicked by a neutered, eviscerated force.
And Russia was very effective in doing that.
They what? Since when?
Now, side note, we reported on this show a few months ago that the United States already has troops in Taiwan and has been actively
that's what I said.
Training them for some time.
Right. The Taiwanese have been readying themselves for a battle against China for fucking 50 years. The Ukrainians have been on their heels and sock puppeted by Russia for years, and only until about 2015 did they start to write that.
No.
And still, I mean, it's just silly.
Not a shocker. Another amazing moment came when Blinken said, quote, China has announced its ambition to create a sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific.
And it has announced its ambition to create a sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific and to become the world's leading power.
Really?
Yes.
Has China said that?
Yes.
And I've just missed it?
Yes.
I mean, it's possible.
Yes.
I'm not that bright.
That's true.
I miss a lot of things.
It's true.
Maybe I missed it. Okay, let's start with a simple Google search. Here's my search. Does Google get money from the government? Oops, sorry. Wrong search question. But here's the answer I got. Yes, the U.S. government funnels massive subsidies.
What? The fuck does that have to do with anything?
To Google. Sorry, I just wanted to provide some context here.
It doesn't receive... It has contracts. And the subsidies, quote unquote, are for the large, server farms and company stuff like any other corporation. That's like Googling, does the National Football League get government subsidies?
When I actually do a search on Google about China, let's see if I get some honest answers. Okay, here, let's search this now on Google. Has China announced a plan to create a sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific? Well, that's odd. Here are the results. There are none. In fact, the only results that even speak about this are from the United States government source.
That's because you're using their words. Hold on. hold on. China. Whoops.
Now, our top story is coming in from the South Pacific region, where China is on a mission to increase its dominance. The Asian nation's bid to expand its orbit is troubling the West. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, who is leading the country's agenda in South Pacific, has managed to sign bilateral agreements with yet another island. Out of the 10 islands China is eyeing, Samoa became the second island that has agreed for greater collaborations with Beijing. The Samoan government confirmed that the leadership of both the nations discussed climate change, the pandemic, peace and security. Keeping the details of the deal under wraps, the government further added that China would continue to provide infrastructural development support and there would be a new framework for future projects. This comes amid Wang Yi's 8-day tour to South Pacific Islands.
Beijing eyes 10 Pacific Islands, announces 5-year deal. Now, let's go back here real quick. China. Let's see. I'm trying to find something that this asshole wouldn't say is China putting, is the West putting out some sort of thing. Just so that we don't have any of that overlap. That's the same one as on China. And then
we start tonight with a story that we're very happy to report, a story of small island nations standing up to China, tiny Pacific countries rebuffing the dragon. It's an incredible story and rare too. You see, smaller countries do not usually do this. They're vulnerable. They need...
See that outreach, the 10 islands? Okay, that's from a few days ago. This is from 4 hours ago.
Money. They end up as vassal states. Making a compromise becomes their survival tactic. But not in this case. China came knocking on their doors and they turned it away. Let me start from the beginning. In fact, we've been telling you about this all of last week. We told you how China was targeting the Pacific, how China wanted a security pact with 10 Pacific islands. In fact, China was so confident of having its way that it went with a pre-drafted deal. Guess what? It has been given a royal snub. The deal is off. And Wang Yi, the Chinese foreign minister, will return home empty-handed.
Sources like the US Embassy.gov and, the White House. Oh, and here's another one. Yeah.
It's because he's doing a search based on the language used by Anthony Blinken.
This
Anthony.
One from the State Department. Now, you would think that all of the money that the U.S. intelligence state funnels to different newspapers and press like the
or that you think they do.
Washington Post, that there would at least be some fake news articles out there to support this claim. But
Chinese President Xi Jinping hailed the achievements of the Communist Party of China and confidently declared its future goals on Thursday as tens of thousands gather in Beijing to celebrate its 100th anniversary. The paramount leader, who donned a Mao suit while other officials arrived in formal attire, told attendees at Tiananmen Square that the party had accomplished the centennial goal of creating a moderately prosperous society. We now march in confident strides toward the second 100-year goal of building China into a modern socialist country in all respects, he declared. He praised on the party's early history, including its humble working-class roots in the years after Russia's October Revolution. The Chinese leader's speech exuded a sense of bullishness, even assertiveness, as he pronounced China's readiness to fend off bullying and oppression by foreign forces. We have never bullied, oppressed, or subjugated the people of any other country, and we never will, he told the nation, before warning of the party's unshakable commitment to resolving the Taiwan question. China has caught up with the times, he added. In his hour-long address, the CPC, by the way, it's CCP, they do this, the Communist Party of China instead of the Chinese Communist Party. They've been reshaping that and trying to get people to say CPC. It's CCP. Had helped China overcome subversion, sabotage, and armed provocation by imperialist and hegemonic powers. It wouldn't exist if the U.S. hadn't liberated them from Japan. The party was central in dismantling the old world and building a new one. It was a callback to famous Mao Zedong era slogan, without the Communist Party, there would be no new China. Only socialism could save China. Only socialism with Chinese characteristics can develop China. The leadership of the day's party is a defining feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics, as well as the greatest strength of the system. By the way, this is like one big phrase, kind of like Allahu Akbar, like socialism with Chinese characteristics is a phrase that all goes together. Marxism works. No, it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. Vision of the greatest modern socialist country in all respects. Let's see, the Chinese path, by the way, which is all just bullish capitalism from, in a kleptocracy. What was the other thing I was going to look up real quick? Because that made me think of something. What was it? Rats. I'll remember it in a second. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Hold on one second. Doing great. Everything's going very well. Cash crisis amid China's stalling economy. Rural banks freeze accounts. Regulators playing pass the parcel. Deposits at 4 rural banks in the central Chinese province of Henan have been frozen since April 18th. On April 18th, in China, if you went to any of these 4 rural banks where the farmers have their money, and you tried to take any money out, what they told you was that they're updating their system, and it's just a computer glitch. Come back tomorrow, and you'll be able to take money out. That was April 18th. They're still frozen. April 18th. Yeah. Henan. Right. What?
I can't find them.
That's because he's literally looking for Blinken's quote because he's a fucking liar.
If you want to be cynical, you could say that China's Belt and Road Initiative that was announced by Xi Jinping in 2013 as a massive infrastructure initiative
is a debt trap.
Has a few minor tentacles
It's a few minor tentacles
to the Indo-Pacific region. But even that doesn't seem to be what they're talking about.
No, it's militaristic.
Military.
Here's another one. Hold on. You want to see the fun part? You want to see the part that this asshole is again, this is one of those things. Ignorance or assholishness, it's hard to tell. China Okay. Here's something that perhaps this asshole could pretend to not know. We'll see. China has a covert naval fleet disguised as fishing boats. The Pentagon's new report on China's developing military capabilities exposed the fighting force on the front line of China's quest to control the seas. No thanks. The Chinese Maritime Militia, CMM, a paramilitary force masquerading as a civilian fishing fleet, is a weapon for gray zone aggression that has operated in the shadow of plausible deniability for years. Supported by the People's Liberation Army Navy, gray hulls, and Chinese Coast Guard white hulls, the CMM blue hulls constitute China's third sea force. The CMM engages in low-intensity coercion in maritime disputes, according to the Department of Defense. So, let's see. Shall I show you the, let's see, CMM Chinese blockade. They, So the Philippines was trying to fish, and look at this. The Philippines released photos of Chinese ships moored at a reef on the 7th of March. So the Chinese roll in with these fishing boats, which are really military boats, and they blockade fishing areas that belong to other countries, steal their fish behind this wall of boats, and then move away. It's very similar to the kind of like stealing of farmland in Georgia and Chechnya, but Georgia specifically, and Ukraine technically in Russia. Same thing, same fucking thing.
Terry is what they're talking about.
Nice, Terry. Thank you.
So just to put a pin on that part.
And by the way, thank you, Cynthia and Laura. John, thanks for the super chat. Bethany, happy Memorial Day to you as well. Erica, thank you so much. Craig, thanks. Yay. Guido Day. Well, since he was questioning the timing of the Uvalde shooting in regards to the NRA conference, thank you.
For a moment. Now, the U.S. is saying that China wants an influence in its own backyard.
No, it doesn't. It wants an influence around other fucking countries. The South China Seas, the Indo-Pacific region, is the Indian Ocean across the fucking Pacific into other people's territory. Hawaii is in the Indo-Pacific region, you fucking dolt.
Right? Like, I own a house, and I want to have...
Oh, my God. It's moron analogy time. We'll make a small analogy that doesn't portray the reality that we're discussing today. Hey, it's dumb analogy time.
Influence over my kids playing in the backyard, right?
No, this is, here's the analogy. You have a backyard, and you want influence over your kids playing in the backyard, so you park your car in your neighbor's living room. And if they try to get you to move, you get them fired from their job by shooting their boss.
So even if that were true, who cares? Who gives a rat's ass? Other Western imperial powers want to control everything.
No, they don't. We want trade to be allowed, but we're not controlling that. We're actually protecting it from piracy and allowing it to occur.
I mean, think about this for a second.
Okay, we'll think about it for longer than you have.
Think about the hypocrisy from the United States.
Yeah, about what?
The U.S. has the Monroe Doctrine, created by U.S. President James Monroe, and it's official U.S. policy that no European or Eastern powers can come over to the Western Hemisphere and do anything. We would consider that
and do anything. They can't come over here. They can own property. They can. They obviously can't engage in foreign influence in our elections. But, I mean, this dude doesn't live in the United States.
Move.
So that's why he's able to, I guess, get paid by Russia or whoever and do this wherever he is.
Against the United States. JFK, in fact, invoked the Monroe Doctrine during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
He told Khrushchev in the Soviet Union to get those missiles out of Cuba because it was a violation of the Monroe Doctrine.
Yeah, this is different, though. We're allowing those countries to be sovereign in and of themselves. China's trying to take them over. That doesn't even parallel to the Cuban Missile Crisis, because as much as Cuba aligned itself with Russia, it did so willingly.
And it worked. Khrushchev caved. The Monroe Doctrine has no power. It's totally made up.
No, it isn't. And by the way, a doctrine is a pattern of behavior. It's a statement of ethic. That's the power of it, is using it and acting off of it.
It's like a group of boys building a tree house and putting a sign on it that says no girls allowed.
That's a different Monroe. That's Monroe from Too Close for Comfort, I think. Monroe. I believe that he had a Monroe Doctrine like that. I'm just going to go out on a limb if you don't know what I'm talking about. This Monroe. Monroe. Who always looked to me like the sitcom version of George Michaels.
By the way, why wouldn't you want girls in your boy's treehouse? I mean,
you'll have to ask Monroe. There's a couple of reasons.
Come on. But anyway, it doesn't really matter.
But anyway, I mean, I'm just doing the show alone. My wife's not here right now, so
it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't have any power. That's
Yes, it does. It has whatever power you act on it with.
The Monroe Doctrine.
It's a doctrine, right? We understand it's not a legally binding treaty or something. It's how you behave, but it's understood as part of American policy. And it's also understood by other countries that it's part of American policy. So don't act on it because we will react if you cross that line.
So who are we, the United States, to control the Western Hemisphere?
The Western Hemisphere? We don't.
Heck, even Russia.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Who are we, the United States,
Look at this edit.
to control the Western Hemisphere? Heck, even Russia, following the collapse of the Soviet Union, claimed that part of the world in that area was under Russia's sphere of influence. That came from Moscow. So the United States has done it. Russia has done it.
Has done what? Again, what are we doing in this situation? We're just trying to let those countries operate as sovereign countries without China exerting overt control over them so that they have the right to make whatever deals they want, whatever pacts they want on their own, not being wrapped up under this, under the Communist Party's control. The United States is a freedom-based alliance. It is, especially to those countries. That's why they sent China packing.
But if China wanted a sphere of influence,
which would be the point of control you're talking about, and there's a difference between what we thought of as our area, meaning our territorial waters directly around us, and the Cuba's alignment as far as missiles and all that kind of stuff with Russia, which was again Cold War era stuff, and the difference between that and saying Samoa should be allowed to make its own fucking decisions.
we'd shut it down by building military bases in the Solomon Islands and everyone else to contain the dangerous red dragon that is China. Don't you just love the double standards in U.S. geopolitics?
Well, we're not. They're building military outposts on artificial islands they created to control India specifically from trading with Australia and Japan so that they can have choke points in the region so they can stop that. So they have hegemonic control over it. We're not. We're creating trade alliances and economic forum and business relationships with those countries without forcing them to do it.
Well, the Chinese government has responded with this today, quote, by spreading disinformation and smearing China's domestic and foreign policy.
Well, clearly, this is the truth. That's the important thing. What Blinken said was an absolute lie and full of, misinformation and manipulation by the U.S. imperialist pig dogs. But this statement is the unvarnished truth.
The real motive of Secretary of State Antony Blinken's address outlining the U.S. policy towards China is to maintain U.S. hegemony.
Hegemony. Oh, very scary word. By the way, we don't have hegemony in that area. We don't. We haven't actually sought it. We have relations like the Quad and the AUKUS agreement, and we have bilateral relationships with Japan, with South Korea, with Taiwan. We did with Hong Kong, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, all those countries, India, Australia, a lot of those in those areas. We have bilateral relationships with them. We don't have a gun to their head. China does.
Wow. Mic drop.
Clayton Morris loses $7 million lawsuit. Is that why he lives in another country? Hold on. Oh, he's a real estate scam artist. Clayton Morris was Holton Wise TV. Here you go.
Is like an authority on this, and I appreciate that. But if you're going to take the same tactic and strategy as the liberal press that they totally ignored for the sake of clickbait, when reporters would tell us that they specifically were not going to include other people that were harmed.
I bought a house through Clayton Morris. At some point, he stopped talking to me and responding to my emails until one of his employees sent me an email saying that intermediary run away with the money and all is lost. I've been constantly asking for updates on my property. Got some pictures of the property that I don't know if it was mine or not. I hired someone off Craigslist to go and take pictures. I'm very lucky that my property was almost finished when this kicked off. The builder stopped working, which I don't blame them. I talked to them and they lost a lot of money. Clayton Morris, as far as I know, didn't run away with the money. There's another company called Ocean Point run by Burt Wallen, who was getting money for the project. Clayton Morris was getting a referral omission. I guess he means commission. I tried talking to Burt Wallen over email. He claimed Clayton Morris was overselling what he was selling. The builders sort of confirmed this, said they were hired to build 125 houses, were expected to build them all at the same time when they didn't have capacity. I hired other people to finish my project and brought it to completion. It's now finished and rented out, and I'm happy. I personally think the biggest bad guy was Burt Wallen, but he ran away with a lot of money. I think probably Clayton Morris misrepresented himself and what he was selling. I'm definitely not happy how they reacted when so... Okay.
Because they wanted to focus on the Fox guy, just to drive traffic. And we've had
Clayton Morris on Fox News at some point.
Conservative reporters reach out to us and just say how laughable it's been. And, you know, it's
I can only hope that he can be extradited back to the U.S. to face many criminal charges that he is apt to face in Indiana, Florida, and New Jersey. Okay, so that's why he's out of the country.
It's just a damn shame. I mean, you know, it really is. You know, I appreciate you reaching out about it, but you have to also appreciate when you're involved in litigation, as ridiculous as the litigation is.
The Morning Invest hosts Dark Past.
You can't talk about these things. You know, I can't go into specifics about any case. You know, you just can't. As much as I'd like to, I just don't. You know, I've done that with. You know, I don't know if you've ever been sued before. I hope you haven't.
Former Fox and Friends anchor turned real estate guru. Oh, that's who this asshole is. So Clayton Morris was on Fox and Friends? Jesus Christ. That was a short-lived thing. So this dipshit, that's why he lives out of the country. That's why he does his show in fucking... He fled in 2017. Good Lord. Hold on. Ex-Fox and Friends co-host. Let's see. Classy dude. Ex-Fox and Friends co-host Clayton Morris leaves the country amid fraud allegations. Has left the country amid more than 24 lawsuits from investors who say he defrauded them in real estate deals involving properties in Indianapolis. Previously resided in a $1.4 million home in New Jersey. Hey, it's the same prices as isn't that funny? That's how much Jimmy Dore paid for his house. Coincidence? I think not. Beware of anyone who pays $1.4 million for a house. That's our new rule. Has moved with his family to a coastal resort town, Portugal. That's where it was. According to his wife's Facebook post. In an email to Indy Star, Morris's wife and business partner, former MSNBC anchor Natalie Morris, said they plan to continue fighting the lawsuits from abroad. They denied responsibility for investor losses, instead of blaming their Indianapolis business partner, Burt Wallen, and his company, Ocean Point. Well, then why'd you flee the fucking country? We have and continue to take responsibility for all our legal challenges that came from our relationship with Ocean Point. We have answered all of our Attorney General requests in all states. We have answered all lawsuits. We're leaving the country. We have not run from anything. We continue to show up for this until the last lawsuit is dismissed, and it's clear that we neither had the money from Ocean Point investors nor did we defraud anyone. That's when he was on there. So now, basically, he just moved down there and started blogging from down there where it's cheap.
Doesn't that perfectly summarize what we've just seen?
Isn't it funny how if you use this guy's logic, he wouldn't be able to be a spokesperson for anything considering his history? Isn't it ironic?
I mean, I can't argue with that at all. He calls out the fake news that the United States is creating, and he calls out the double standard about U.S. power and hegemony. Man, if we only had a disinformation governance board, then maybe the United States would stop putting out all of this disinformation. Please like and subscribe to...
Oh, piss off. Gross. What an asshole. Yes, what an asshole he is. Hold on. This is... I'm going to see if this one's up. You're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide on this special Memorial Day edition, where we're looking at former Fox News hosts who apparently have beat feet and left the country. Huh. Ocean Point. Where have I heard that name before exactly? Outrageous. That's right. Anytime they say it's outrageous. You're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show if you feel like doing it. If you don't, that's okay too. But thank the people who do, as I often do, and I show the credits, and our patrons, especially patreon.com/HalSparks. Thank you guys. If you can contribute and you want to become a patron or a member on YouTube or subscribe on Twitch, please do so. If you would sweat it at all, don't do it. If it gives you any anxiety, if you filling out the putting in credit card information in a website or anything gives you any heebie-jeebies, just don't do it. Just show up at a show and say hi, something like that. Come to a live show or something. But if you can support, please do so. Now, I thought Lauren Boebert was the single dumbest person when it came to the response to the shooting in Texas. Apparently not. Dems ramp up attacks on NRA. No, I would say the NRA unleashes attacks on children all the time, and it's a useless organization for gun owners, is basically a lobbying arm of the gun manufacturing industry and a bunch of macho assholes. And so, yeah.
Tone just 3 days after that horrific massacre.
For the record, no. All of my attacks that I ramped up on the NRA ramped up from a shooting 3 years ago.
In Uvalde,
just pick one.
Texas, that left 19 children and 3 adults dead. But make no mistake here. Don't mistake somberness for a lack of resolve.
Don't mistake somberness for a lack of resolve. Huh?
Life member of the NRA and someone who worked with this organization for years, I can tell you, we all here on this convention floor have a sincere commitment to keep our kids and society safe.
Bullshit.
That's what the...
No, you don't. You want them to be caught in the crossfire of your war for a bigger penis.
Media cannot seem to fathom.
The leadership of the National Rifle Association has proven time and time again that they are contributing to the problem of gun violence, not trying to solve it.
The purpose of the NRA appears to be, yes, selling lots of guns, but also living like kings.
Putting yourself in the shoes of these parents instead of in the arms of the NRA might let you wriggle free from the vice-like grip of the NRA.
It is awful to watch that.
Yeah, it's almost as awful as watching the shootings, I'm sure, for you, Stank. It must feel like, I don't know, a parent at a funeral must feel. I understand your pain. Watching them slaughter an organization that meets every so often to celebrate a constitutionally protected amendment that isn't under attack.
You just saw right there is why there is an overwhelming feeling inside this Houston Convention Center
that more people need to be shot.
That the 5 million members of the NRA are...
A lot of people join because you get like money, if you go to a range, some of them will you can join the NRA with this thing and you'll get half your ammunition off and that kind of stuff like that. They puff their numbers up that way.
Under attack. You just saw it.
Yeah, they're under attack. Not like kids are, but they're kind of under attack. They're under attack kind of like they feel like they're all in school and they're all 8. Jesus Christ, they feel under attack. You can't bring it. Here's the thing, fucko. Stank. You can't bring a gun into the NRA convention. I guarantee that feeling that they are under attack is all inside.
So now let's be clear. That horrific murder spree in Uvalde is not the fault of anyone in this room. And
no, of course not. They didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't build up the culture of gun worship. They didn't, infantilize.
It is certainly not the fault of NRA leadership, but...
No, it mostly is. I'm going to put it right at their feet. Yeah, it mostly is. Because they treat guns like toys or as a solution to your emotional problems.
That is not what the left would have you believe. Right now in America, all our rights are under attack.
No, they aren't. Your rights are not under attack. As a matter of fact, the feeling that your rights are under attack is one of the reasons that a lot of these assholes open fire.
The NRA is the front lines in protecting those rights, and not just
No, they're not.
the Second Amendment either, but the first two. And because this organization, the one you see behind me, is so powerful, it always has the anti-gun crowd trying to destroy it and make...
No, they just show up days after there's a shooting all the time. And curiously, they seem to be completely blind to the hateful impact that they have, and they don't, and blind to the cruelty of their showing up in these situations.
No mistake, the NRA's power doesn't come from the lobbyists in Washington, the
yeah, it does.
Suits there, or the executives at headquarters. It comes from the unwavering, indomitable fighting spirit of its members.
Yeah, they don't fight, they shoot. Dude's got a kid there, and his shirt says the pew pew. Like pew 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 pew, like laser guns. Yeah, these are people taking guns seriously.
It's why they came here, to speak the truth.
Yeah, you could buy, look at all this gear, the kind of stuff you'd wear to school. I mean, this is the new fashion. This is the kind of stuff the NRA is for. The National Rifle Association. Motherfucker, this isn't like about military action. This is National Rifle Association stuff. Deer can't see orange. Why the fuck is any of this camo necessary?
Not from the media, but from patriots who love the Second Amendment.
No, they don't. I call bullshit. They don't love the Second Amendment. They love half of it. They love the shall not be infringed part. They don't give a rat fuck about the well-regulated militia part. And that came first. They wrote, the founding fathers in the phrasing said the right to bear arms shall not be infringed because a well-regulated militia is important to a free people. They did it the other way around. A well-regulated militia was the first thing they wrote down in the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia. List of who's got guns and where and how much ammo and when they got it and how long they've had it. Well-regulated, fucko. None of this, I'm a Second Amendment purist. No, you're not. If you were, you wouldn't breeze past the well-regulated part.
We here today
are here because we've been bullied all our young lives, and we'd like to take it out on a stranger with a firearm from far away.
And millions more like us are patriotic Americans.
That's why I'm in front of a wall of blood. Jesus Christ. He looks like he's standing in front of the elevator in The Shining.
The heart and soul of this country. We love our nation.
We just don't care. You got to lose a few Americans on the regular just in case you might need to shoot a congressman at some point, according to these assholes.
We love our children.
Yeah, you just don't give a shit about anybody else's.
Grandchildren.
And
friends.
Unless, yeah, our friends. We love our friends. If you're a stranger, I don't really give a shit if you get killed, apparently.
And family. And that's why we will always value, cherish, and protect our fundamental human right to defend ourselves, our communities, and our loved ones.
Which none of that would be harmed by you registering your guns and how much ammo you have, and limiting the amount of ammo that people can have. Because there's no fucking way you're having a long-form shootout unless you're a criminal. You don't need over 100 rounds of fucking ammunition at any given time if you're not actively involved in a cartel.
We, the NRA,
the National Rifle Abortionists,
will never ever stop fighting for the right
to kill a stranger and carry around an abortion machine in front of ourselves in lieu of a penis.
Of the innocent and the law-abiding to defend themselves.
Yeah, but you won't do anything to defend them against being at the impact of a lunatic who can buy whatever fucking gun they want and not register it and not register how much ammo they have, and to open carry it around areas so that the cops can't even go, hey buddy, why do you feel the fucking need, since we're not currently involved in an international altercation with an invading force, to walk around with a fucking M16 around your neck?
As Texans and as Americans, we grieve and mourn with these families.
No, you don't.
The loss of their child is a tragedy that no parent should ever have to endure.
Well, then, if they shouldn't have to endure it, then get rid of all the guns then. All of them. You just said it. They shouldn't have to endure it, but they do. They have to endure it because you guys want playthings.
We will bind up the wounds of the people of Uvalde
and wait for the next shooting.
The test of time has proven that this greatest experiment in human history, called the United States of America, is truly the only government that guarantees an individual's liberties and freedoms.
No, they just have slight variations between, like Sweden, UK, Norway, Australia. There's a myriad of other countries now that have taken what we've done and built upon it and don't feel the need for everybody there to have a fucking AR-15.
So this is why I broadcast from this convention.
Because you want to make a mockery of the funerals of children, stank.
Because it restores my faith in America. As you look at the faces.
Excuse me, I didn't lose my faith in America, fucko. I have no faith in you and anybody in the NRA to actually do anything good for this country at all. It's a sales force.
Here, as you talk to the people here, you will find they are what is great about America. Everyone here loves this country.
Citation needed.
Everyone here wants your rights protected.
Yeah, unless that right is the ability to order something to go in a Starbucks without having to look over your shoulder to see if some nutcase has decided to go from lawful gun owner to unhinged active shooter in an instant.
No matter what side of the aisle you may fall on, all of them, all of our rights. The people in this room aren't dangerous.
How do you know? Well, he's right. The people in that room aren't dangerous because they're unarmed. None of these people would shoot anybody right now because they had to leave their guns in the car because it's the NRA and they're not allowed to bring them in here.
They aren't violent.
Well, because they'd have to get in a fist fight and they'd get their ass kicked.
In fact, their quest for safety and security runs through their veins, and we are torn up about what happened.
Yeah, you know what also runs through people's veins? The lead and shrapnel from these assholes' bullets whenever they decide to snap and decide, the tyranny of the government is too much. I got to go shoot up a 7-Eleven.
In Texas. They may be the most misunderstood group of Americans we have ever seen, the people that walk this floor.
Yes, it is. I do not understand how you are Second Amendment absolutist first, and you will leave your gun in the car, and the NRA can tell you no guns allowed. What is that? I don't understand it. It seems silly.
At no fault of their own. The media and their socialist overlords want you to misunderstand the members of the NRA. The media wants you to hate them.
Oh, do they? The media wants me to hate them? Media. It's the media that makes me hate them, not the words coming out of your mouth and the dipshittery coming from people like Wayne LaPierre.
The media wants you to criticize them and ostracize them from.
Sorry, nobody gets. It's America, buddy. Nobody gets to dodge criticism.
Society. But here is where the real underestimation comes in. The people in this room that I talk to on a regular basis.
The unarmed people at a gun convention
will never back down.
Yes, they will. They walked up to the door of this place with a gun and they said, you can't bring that in there. I went, oh, okay. And they put it in their trunk.
And their greatest weapon isn't their sidearm or their AR-15. It's the truth and the Constitution.
Well, I tell you what, if they want to open carry the truth in the Constitution, I'm all fucking for it. I'm not worried about some asshole whacking me with a copy of the Constitution when I'm trying to go grocery shopping.
And they use both to wage war in defense of freedom.
No, they don't. They don't wage war with the truth. Get the fuck out of here, you bloviating asshole.
Joining me now is North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Mark, welcome to the program, Governor.
Good to be here again, as always.
I'm glad that I'm not armed. Nobody's armed, so I can just walk around freely. The whole place it's crazy how few guns there are, but everybody's got a shirt with a gun on it.
I've seen you here a lot of years, and it's good to see you here. This is a more somber tone, but it's important you're here, and thank you for coming. Some cancellations. What do you think?
I don't know why they wouldn't want to come here and sing. You know, wow, what makes today different than yesterday as far as singing songs about the day the music died just because 19 children were murdered?
I guess people have their own motivations for doing things, but so do I. You know, when things like this happen, you know, I said this back in 2018, when things like this happen, we know what the right thing to do is.
Yes, the right thing to do is tighten all the rules around guns and mental illness, guns and registration, ammo capacity, magazine capacity, traceability of guns.
We've got the right formula. We've got the winning formula.
You got the winning formula. The winning formula, of course, is to scare the fuck out of people so they buy more guns.
Been preaching it ever since Columbine, and there are lots of places that refuse to adhere to what what we're saying. But the bottom line is this.
You mean Texas?
You know, law-abiding citizens should not back down and should not give up their constitutional rights. That's the bottom line. That's why I'm here.
We watched earlier guys like Chuck Schumer, others that vilify the NRA. They think the members out here are toxic. I don't think they've ever talked to any of these members. There's nothing toxic about it.
Yeah, they are. A lot of the Republicans, by the way, that they've sat on committees with and the like are members of the fucking NRA.
About this room?
Absolutely. You know, one of the most disgusting.
No, here's the most toxic thing about it, is that these assholes are walking around amongst weapons of war, flak jackets, bulletproof vests, all this kind of stuff, like it's a fucking Ross or a Old Navy with an inserious view of incredibly serious things. Again, the best thing that can happen with a gun, it happens on the worst day of your life. At best, guns are a necessary evil and should be treated as such. Right. Meanwhile, they're wandering around Guns R Us with their fucking fanny pack on. Hey, can I get one of them silencers?
Discussing things about.
I got some feral pigs I need to sneak up on.
About this entire event, other than the fact that this madman took these children's lives, is how a lot of our elected officials have used it for their own political advantages. You know, they've given about.
Well, why would there be a political advantage? What's the political advantage? What is allegedly? Or maybe they're just trying to solve a fucking problem. If this madman could take a gun and he was a law-abiding gun owner until he wasn't, maybe there should be a difference, a variation in the rules about who could buy a fucking gun and when.
About 5 to 10 words of condolences to the family members and the grieving nation, but then they've got 150, 200, 300 words of venom for their political enemies.
No, for the gun lobby and the people who are trying to sell death over the counter all across the country. They're not just their political enemies. They have an ethical and moral difference between themselves and these people. And the reason why there's only so much you could say to the parents of a dead child. I can imagine it would be incredibly difficult, but you'd have a lot of words about the people who passed out these weapons to try and keep it from happening again.
For them, it's not about the tragedy that happened. It's about how they can.
It's about preventing the next one. And then if not that one, then the one after that. Or talking about the one before that. Or the one before the last one. Or the one before the last one.
Leverage this for their elections. And it's very sad to see grown men do this.
There's a lot of women doing it too. And there's a lot of young people also who are not grown talking about this because they don't want to die at the hands of some insta-tyrant. Just add AR-15.
Men and women, brother.
Why do you think it is they come after the NRA as hard as they do?
Because the NRA is a bunch of assholes who think guns are playthings and hide behind the Constitution, using it as a shield to basically just sell arms to average citizens and fear.
It's the easy target. You know,
Why is it an easy target? It should be a very difficult target. It's an easy target. It's not an easy target while you're in there. No one has a gun.
Easy target. They come after the NRA and claim that the NRA is responsible for these shootings, but I can tell you this right now, and I'm not shy about saying this. The NRA has never advocated for the death of anyone.
Yeah. They have also done nothing to mitigate the death of anyone at the end of a barrel.
You know, someone told me one time,
it's what we would call wanton disregard for human life.
In the NRA, you have blood on your hands. And
right.
I looked at him, I said, I think you mispronounced Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is an organization that actually has blood on its hand.
Wow.
It advocates for the death of children in the womb.
We wait till they're good and born before we let them get their brains blown out.
This organization fights for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
No. It most definitely does not fight for life.
And holding on to those principles. We have advocated for things like School Shield and programs that will increase school safety.
How? By the way, increasing school safety by having armed guards. That school, Uvalde had an armed guard. They had an armed officer on campus.
We advocate for teaching young children about gun safety and respecting guns.
Yeah, that's not the problem. None of the kids that were shot lacked a respect for how guns are, like the safety of guns.
We do not advocate these shootings, and from what I've seen, none of our members have been responsible for these things.
Yeah, NRA membership is a secret. They don't list whether you're a member. You can tell people yourself. But let's see. Yeah, that's why. He can say that without feeling like any pressure because they don't publish a list of members.
When I say the left is all talk, and from
all talk. Well, we certainly don't shoot anyone. That's
the right and gun activists, the NRA.
By the way, Sanders supporter baseball shooting aside.
Groups too. It's actionable items, whether you're training people to how to respond to an active shooter, whether you're training people with policy.
And by training people to respond to an active shooter, he means 7-year-olds.
Technology, whatever else it might be.
Yeah, technology, smart guns, tracking of ammunition.
Protect schools. These are actionable items. The left has none.
No, there's Biden just banned ghost guns, for example.
That's exactly right. You know, they give all this big talk about, oh, we're going to shut down the NRA. We're going to take away your AR-15s, your AK-47s. Okay.
Well, yeah, your AK-47s, we did that.
Okay, let's say, for example, you do take away my AR-15, which has never been used in a crime. My neighbors, you take those away. Who's still going to have the guns?
Yeah, criminals don't, by and large, in general, have AR-15s. And people who have handguns can engage somebody with an AR-15 or call the fucking police. We're not in a situation, by the way, where vast numbers of AR-15s are out on the street being used by gang members. Most of those are handguns.
Very same people who commit these actions are still going to have those guns hidden, and they're still going to kill people with them.
No, they're not. A lot of the folks who do the mass shootings bought them legally. Should not have, because there should have been red flags around them. Or should have been, it should have red flagged them when they were buying a shit ton of ammunition and storing it.
They're not attacking the solution at the root.
We're trying, but Republicans run interference.
When 9/11 happened, we didn't ban airplanes.
Yes, we did. We grounded airplanes. Fucking hell. We grounded airplanes. We sealed the cockpit door. You can't even go to the fucking pisser if the captain is using it and stand in line and wait for it. You cannot queue for bathrooms on an airplane anymore. You go through TSA. You can't even bring a fucking bottle of water after 9/11. What the fuck are you talking about? We put in a shit ton of practical limitations, and we have the freedom to travel in this country. We don't have to show our papers going state to state. But if you're going to get in an airplane, there's all kinds of rules. What the fuck?
We reinforced the cockpit doors. We doubled down on security in the airports. That is the thing that should have been done after the Columbine tragedy, because unfortunately, that.
Okay, the cockpit door analogy in this situation would be the purchasing of ammunition or extended magazines and that kind of stuff. The double down on security stops the shooter from being able to bring said arms into a specific place. If we do that about the United States in general, is there an idea that somebody could make a fucking soap gun and bring it onto a plane, or make an underwear bomb or something? Is that always a possibility? Yeah. It doesn't stop you from practical solutions.
That set a standard in this nation for madmen. We need to deal with that by making sure our children are taken care of.
You know,
our children. Yes, it's a mental health issue. It's our kids that are all wrapped up. It's not the guns. It's that our kids are crazy. I mean, we can't stop anybody who's crazy from getting a gun, because then who else? I mean, who at that place would be able to pass the test?
I expect those on the left to come out after us. What I don't expect is for those on the right, honestly, sadly, maybe I do expect some of them to start to back down, especially in Washington. President Trump calls them rhinos, Republicans in name only. What's your message to them?
My message to them is, if this is not the time when you're willing to stand up for the Second Amendment, you were never willing to stand up for the Second Amendment.
Well-regulated militia, fucko. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for an infringement on the ability to bear arms, just on the limitation of what those arms are. If you need more than 3 magazines to return fire in your handgun, you are not engaged in a self-defense exchange. You're a murderer.
These are the tough times when the wise and the strong stand firm on what they believe in and push back against those.
Also, consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, and if you're stupid, you might just continue to think the same dipshittery forever. Maybe it's because you're stubborn and dumb.
False narratives that we're hearing. If we're not willing to push back against false narratives now, we'll never be willing to do it.
Yeah, if the killing of 19 kids can make you rethink your position, do you even really have a permission?
Mark Robinson.
A position, rather?
I appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
It's nice to be in a place where there are absolutely no loaded guns for at least a block. It's great.
You got it.
Since Trump's going to be here, I got to say, the guy with the rubber glove was surprisingly gentle. Look at that, 506 likes. Look at that, and 1,100 in the chat on a holiday. Thanks. By the way, I'm going to let you guys go a little bit early today since we got through that, since it's a holiday, and I appreciate you guys being here. I will see you tomorrow at the regular time at 3 o'clock, and then on Wednesday, of course, we have a morning show on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. If you want to join us then. We get a little more, since I'm not dealing with clips and responding to them, in the morning shows, we get to be a little more philosophical. Thanks, Jeff. I'm getting there. This is the most facial hair I've had in quite a long time. It's worth it. I appreciate that, 250. The morning shows are fun. So hit a like on your way out the door if you feel like that. Give a thumbs up, support the show, and if you're not subscribed, think about it. Come on, just do it. It's not. It's not a big. Is it that? Can you not? Is there a possibility that you could just hit that just on your way out? What do we got right now? I'm just going to check while we're at the door. We got 35,250. Look at that. Good grief. Look at that. 35,000 subscribers. We got, subscribe. Doesn't cost you a dime. Same thing with Twitch. If you're on Twitch, you can subscribe and it doesn't cost you a dime if you have Amazon Prime. We're down below 1,000 again. See how it dips down all the time? We're trying to get up to 2,500. I mean, it's not a lot to ask. I'm just saying. Help me out if you can. If you can't, just enjoy watching the show because it helps me to know that I might be lifting your spirits, making you laugh, and making you slightly less worried. That's all. And yeah, I think Midas Touch is on today as well. They're not live, so, you know, there you go. But it's fun to be in their chat. So take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock Pacific time. Be well. Have fun.